at handa po akong sa anumang mga legal na proseso. Senador Risa, hindi ako nag-text ng anuman sa'yo. Wag mo na akong gamitin sa mga kasinungalingan mo. Kaya nga nasusuka ako sa iyo. Titindigan ko yung mga sinabi ko sa video na ginawa ko. Kusang loob ko itong ginawa para matahimik na yung konsensya ko.
Nako, umaatikabong sagutan ng mapapanood natin dito sa video na to. Punto por punto ang sinagot netong si alias Rene yung mga palusot netong si Senator Risa Hontiveros kahapon sa kanyang press con na kung saan sinasabi niya kasinungalingan yung mga akusasyon netong si alias Rene doon sa nauna niyang video na kung saan binayaran daw ho siya di umano ng opisina nitong si Senator Risa Hontiveros ng 1 milyon para magsinungaling doon sa kanyang komite nung nakaraang taon. Pero bago yan mga kababayan, isang like at isang subscribe. Masaya na ho tayo dyan. At sa mga gusto sumali sa ating community, yung join button nandyan lang ho sa baba. Ayun na nga, ilan pa ba ang kulang? 93,000 subscriber na lang, palakpakan sa mga kasama natin dito sa PH Update. Maraming salamat. Grabe ho yung bilis ng paglaki ng subscriber natin. Maraming salamat sa pag-subscribe sa PH Update. Ayun na nga, gusto ko nga rin nung pasalamatan yung mga kasama nating nagpakulay sa mga nakalipas na video. Mega love shoutout ho muna dito kay Jero Rahe Wanderlust. Maraming salamat sa pagsuporta sa PH Update. Mega love shoutout. Dito kay Jaijin Uploader. Mega love shoutout. Maraming salamat Dito kay Joanna. Maraming salamat sa pagsuporta sa PH Update. Thank you ho. Dito kay Sir Joel Arliano. Sir Joel, kumusta na? Asa na? Ay, hindi ko na Ito sila, ayan. Etong si Sir... Teka lang Ito si Ma'am Joanna, mega love shoutout. Hindi ko pala nalilipat, sorry. Dito kay Sir Joel Arliano, maraming salamat Dito kay Ma'am Lorena Bahada, maraming salamat Mega love shoutout. Mega love shoutout din dito kay Miss Marilyn The Scorpion Queen. Ako, matindi ito. Marilyn, maraming salamat, The Scorpion Queen. Maraming salamat sa pagsuporta sa PH Update. Ayun na nga, rekta ho tayo dito sa sagot nitong si alias Rene, kaugnay doon sa mga sagot nitong si Senator Risa kahapon sa kanyang press con. Ito mga kababayan, panoorin natin.
Ako po si Michael Maurilio, si alias Rene.
Michael Maurilio na from now on tawag. Kasi si Risa Hontiveros na rin ang umamin na si alias Rene at Michael Maurilio iisa. Maigi nang nagkakalinawan tayo. Baka iba si Michael Maurilio, iba si alias Rene, di ba? Inano na ika nga, hindi ho yun pinasinungalingan nitong si Risa Hontiveros. Yan nga siya ho talaga yung nagsalita diyan sa Senado kasi nakatakip ang mukha niya So sa pag-acknowledge nitong si Risa Hontiveros na ang nagsasalita na yan sa video si Michael Maurilio aka alias Rene, ibig sabihin, isang tao ang nagsalita sa Senado at ang nagsasalita ngayon sa ating harapan. Mas maigi na malinaw. Baka kasi iba yon at iba yung nagsalita sa Senado at iba yung nagsasalita sa harapan natin. Si Risa Hontiveros na rin ang nagsabi na iisang tao ang ating pinag-uusapan dito. Maigi ng malinaw, Kasi yan mahirap na kasi nakatakip ang mukha. Pagdating dito, iba pala yung nagsasabi na siya si alias Rene, di ba?
Una po sa lahat, hindi po ako binayaran, pinilit, tinakot or kinidnap ng Kingdom o ang kampo ni Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy. Wala pong katotohanan yung mga claims ni Senador Risa sa kanyang press con. Wala po ako sa pader ng Kingdom. 2019 pa po ako huling nakapunta ng Glory Mountain. Ito lamang ay pamamaraan ni Senador Risa upang ako ay makuha ulit at patahimikin. Kusa po akong lumabas upang sabihin yung katotohanan. Handa po akong maglabas ng mga ebidensya, kaukulang ebidensya papatunay na si Senador Risa ang pasimuno sa mga paninira kay Pastor Apollo Kibuloy.
Nako, yari ka dito, Senator Risa. Yan na nga ba sinasabi ko, Risa Hontiveros. Ayaw nyo kasing tigilan yung kabalbalan nyo na yan eh. Yan tuloy ang napapala nyo, di ba? Oh, handa daw itong si alias Rene na maglabas pa ng karagdagang ebidensya. Actually, itong testimonya pa lang, yan ba ang mukhang kinid? Yan ba ang mukhang tinatakot? Pangisi-ngisi lang tong si alias Rene, anong tinatakot? Kusa ako sumuko, di ba? Medyo namamalat pa ho tayo, medyo ika nga, nasasamid pa tayo ng konti, pero laban na yan, ika nga, no? Eto, tanongin nun natin yung mga kasama natin dito sa PH Update. By the way, sa pag nag 1 million subscriber tayo, mamimigay ho ako ng hug and kiss. Yan na naman, parang paparty na naman yan eh. Pag magwa 1 million na ho tayo, sige, magpa-party ho kayo pagka nag 1 million. Imbitahin ho natin lahat doon sa paparty ninyo sa 1 million natin, okay? Tanungin ho natin yung mga kasama natin dito sa PH Update. Yang hubang mukha na yan ho ba ang mukha ng tinatakot? I-comment nyo ho sa baba. Kasi hindi ho tayo, parang diskumpiyado tayo doon sa birada nitong si Risa Hontiveros na kinidnap siya, tinakot siya, tinatago siya sa KOJC ngayong mga panahon na to. Ayusin ho natin kasi yung pagmumukha na yan, sa tingin natin, hindi ho yan tinakot.
At handa po akong sa anumang mga legal na proseso. Senador Risa, hindi ako nag-text ng anuman sa'yo. Wag mo na akong gamitin sa mga kasinungalingan mo. Kaya nga nasusuka ako sa'yo. Titindigan ko yung mga sinabi ko sa video na ginawa ko. Kusang loob ko itong ginawa para matahimik na yung konsensya ko. Uulitin ko po, hindi po.
Pagmasdan nyo ho yung kanyang body language. Handa daw etong si alias Rene na sagutin kung ano man ang ibato sa kanya netong si Risa Hontiveros. O Senator Risa, handa ka na ba? Matindi-tinding laban itong isa na to. Alam mo, itong multo na ginawa mo na to, hakabuling ka nito hanggang sa 2028. Yan sinasabi ko sa iyo. Di ba? Hahabulin ka nito. Hindi ka titigilan nitong multo na to. Gumawa ka ng sarili mong multo. Wala ka namang multo. Wala ka namang alias Rene. Ang problema, gumawa ka ng multo mo. 3 multo ang ginawa mo. Una, Parmali. Una, Kian de los Santos. Tapos Parmali. Hindi. Una si Kian, tama. Tapos Parmali. Tapos dito kay Pastor Kibuloy. Gumawa ka ng 3 multo marami ka palang multo. Yung sa PhilHealth pa. Yung gandang PhilHealth mo, madam. Yang multo na yan, hindi lang ngayong nasa politika ka hahabulin. Habang buhay, hahabulin ka ng mga multong ginawa mo na yan. Kaya kung ako sa iyo, tigil-tigilan nyo na ho yan. Sa pagpasok ng 28th Congress, imbis na atupagin nyo, patapos na ho kasi termino niyan, di na makakatakbo ng senador yan. At hindi rin naman makakatakbo ng congressman yan. Wala nang boboto dyan. Kaya do or die ho si Risa dito sa panahon na to. Kung mag-VP siya, kung hindi naman VP, anong tawag dito? Mag-presidente siya. Yun lang naman ho, ang niya, ika nga do or die itong panahon na to kay Risa Hontiveros. Kaya talaga nakikipagbalagbagan siya. Tumakbo ka ng VP. Okay? Takbo ka ng VP, tapos si VP Sara ang presidente. Tapos, i-impeach ka namin. Ipapatikim namin yung ginagawa nyo kay VP Sara ngayon sa'yo. Dahil isa ka sa mga nagpakasangkapan dito sa administrasyon na to para pahirapan itong si VP Sara, si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte at itong si Pastor Kibuloy. Yun ang katotohanan dito. Ang angas pa ni Risa eh. Di ba? Ang angas pa niya, hindi. Nag-text sa akin yan, nag-text sa amin yan. Ganito yan, ganyan yan, ganun yan. Yan, nangingi pang pambili ng laptop. Sana all pambili ng laptop. Anak ng tokwa, di ba? Sana ganun-ganun na lang. Pengi ako pambili ng laptop. Pengi ako pambili laptop. Sana isa, pengi ako pambili. Huwag ganon. Tapos sasabihin nito si alias Maurilio, kasinungalingan lahat ng sinabi nitong si Senator Risa Hontiveros. Di ba? Yun ang problema natin dito eh. Bibira ka, lalabasan mo kami ng puro laway o screenshot na kung ano pa man. Dapat kung ano screenshot yan, pakitaan mo kami ng email. O yan, email yan ha. Nakita mo yung email ko, o ibablock ko na lang tong mga email na to kasi ito lang titignan natin. O yan, gumagalaw yung email, ibig sabihin, yung date, kasi hindi nyo madadaya yan. Yung date ng email, hindi yung date na screenshot kasi mai-edit yan eh. 1 minute lang sa Photoshop, may edit mo na yan. Day, time, lahat, may edit mo yan eh. Pero yung gumagalaw na email, yung nasa taas 2024, nasa baba lahat 2024, wala tayong problema. Ibig sabihin talaga nag-email ka sa kanya. Nanghihingi ka ng laptop. Pero pagka pinakitaan mo kami ng screenshot, naglulukuhan tayo dyan. Kahit ako, kaya ko magpakita niyan, ika nga. Tuloy natin, alias Maurilio. Ay, alias Rene.
Ako binayaran, pinilit, kinidnap ng kingdom ang kampo ni Pastor Apollo Kibuloy.
Yari ho si Risa dito mga kababayan. Kasi wala pa man, pinapasinungalingan na nitong si alias Rene, yung mga aligasyon nitong si Risa Hontiveros na kesyo ganito, nangingi ka ng tulong, di ba? Nagpadala ng PNP, nangingi na ng tulong sa PNP. Pero sa tingin ko, ito na sasabihin ni Risa Hontiveros sa mga susunod na araw. Salamat kaayo NBI. Dahil Brad, hinahanap ka ng NBI. Di ba? Narinig mo naman, yung madalahirang babae na nag-press con kahapon, ang sabi niya, manghihingi siya ng tulong. Sa NBI, dapat sana yung mga ganong klaseng detalye kung talagang hindi ka nananako. Hindi mo sasabihin no. Hindi mo sasabihin yung mga next move mo. Kasi pagka sinabi mo yung mga next move mo, mapaghahandaan ng mga hinahanap mo. Wala namang warrant yung mama. Kumbaga, inahanap lang siya, hinahunting siya, yung dahil sa kanyang revelasyon. Wala siyang linabag na kung ano pa mang yung pagsisinungaling siguro. Yung perjury. Pero wala pa naman siyang warrant of arrest. Kumbaga yung press ko na yon, nagsisend siya ng signal dito kay alias Rene, oy, umayos-ayos ka ha, ipapa-NBI kita. Salamat kaayo, Madam Chair. Diba? Ganun yung mga kababayan. Ayun na nga. Commentary ako kayo dyan sa pinaka-latest nitong si alias Rene. Itong si Michael Maurilio. Dito ho tayo mga kababayan. Hindi ho tayo, ika nga, tapos na ho tayo kay Risa Hontiveros, panibagong paksa na ho ito. Ito yung interview nitong si Ma'am Karen Davila dito kay Attorney Ruben Carranza, Senior Associate at the International Center for Transnational Justice. Siya, Senior Associate. Siya diyan sa International Center for Transnational Justice. Ang sinasabi ho niya dito mga kababayan, talagang ipinamigay ni Marcos Jr., sinuko ni Marcos Jr., itong si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Pinapasinungalingan nito yung sinasabi ni Boying Remulla na case of first impression nito, kailangan gawin namin to, kailangan gawin namin yan. Dito sa paliwanag nitong si Attorney Carranza, maliliwanagan ang mga kababayan natin na pinagkaluno talaga ng administrasyon ni Marcos Jr. Itong si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Pero bago yan mga kababayan, kung di pa kayo nakasubscribe at umabot kayo sa bahagi ng video natin na to, isang subscribe naman ho dyan. Masaya na ho tayo dyan. Ito na nga. Magpapaparty ho sila. Kung ikaw ang pinakahuling magsasubscribe para mag 1 million tayo, kayo kung pinakaunang iimbitahan sa party. Heto na ho, umpisa na ho natin to. Yay.
The Philippine Department of Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla in a press conference has said, driven by the significant challenge of destroyed or absent evidence, the government is choosing or has chosen not to pursue the war on drugs, a case in the Philippines. But you have the Justice Secretary himself saying that most of the evidence here has been destroyed. Crime scenes have already been manipulated, right? They have not been preserved. So he says it's difficult to prove the case in the Philippines and build up the case, hence entrusting it to the ICC. Do you see this as a weakness? The fact that the Justice Department himself agrees that evidence is absent in the Philippines.
No, well, actually, I don't think that he understands the distinctions between an ICC trial and cases being filed in the Philippines. That's why there's complementarity, a basic principle of the ICC. That's also why the ICC prosecutes high-level officials, because the idea is that lower-level officials involved in the same crimes can be prosecuted back in the country where they are. And there is no reason why the Department of Justice in the Philippines, which under Duterte and then earlier under Marcos, actually reviewed all the EJK, all the extrajudicial killing cases connected to the drug war. They even submitted these case files to the ICC.
Oo. So meron. May ebidensya.
May ebidensya.
In fact, the reason why the ICC proceeded with the case was that the case files were haphazardly done, but they exist. They were done in such a way that the Philippine National Police and the National Bureau of Investigation narrowed the number of cases to about 50 when there were tens of thousands. And so the ICC said that this is haphazard filing, and so we will proceed with our own investigation. But this also tells you that the Philippines actually has the evidence, actually has the records, actually was able to submit them to the ICC and can do what the ICC did, but for lower level officials. So even for officials of the Duterte government who were involved in the drug war, a former PNP chief, for example, or perhaps even a former DOJ secretary. And so there is no obstacle really for the Philippine government not to conduct its own prosecution. In fact, there is a law in the Philippines. It's a crimes against humanity law that can be used locally before domestic courts. It's not just murder, but also the same charges that have been filed against Rodrigo Duterte can be filed in a domestic court in the Philippines against people below Duterte for drug war crimes.
Yari, di ba? Maliwanag pa ho sa sikat ng araw. Hindi makakapag-proceed ang ICC kung walang ebidensya. Sino nag-supply ng ebidensya? Ang administrasyon ni Marcos Jr. Meron tayong batas na gumagana na kayang litisin, usigin si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Hindi nila ginawa. Bakit? Aalamin ho natin ang dahilan.
So with just what you've revealed right now, what you've shared, do you think that the government actually is playing Pontius Pilate? It's washing its hands of the Duterte drug war case because of the Duterte's popularity?
It could be about popularity, but I think it's really about power. That Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Surrendered Rodrigo Duterte to the ICC so that Rodrigo Duterte and his family would not have the strength to challenge the Marcos family for power. This is not about accountability. This is not about justice for victims of the drug war. This is about the Marcoses removing a threat to their power and the Duterte family trying to come back to power. And that's the unfortunate side of this, Karen.
Hindi Duterte supporter, hindi DDS. Isa ho siyang, ano nga kasi pwesto niya? Attorney Ruben Carranza, Senior Associate at the International Center for Transnational Justice. Palakpakan ho natin pagka ganyan yung, di ba? Sila nagsabi, ang pagpapadala sa ICC kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte para pigilan, ang tangi-tanging kadahilanan, para pigilan na ma-challenge nila ang administrasyon sa kapangyarihan. Kailan? Sa 2028. Paano Actually, hindi nga tayo sang-ayon dun eh. Wala naman kasing pang-challenge yung administrasyon eh. Sa ginawa nila na yan kay Tatay Digong, ang dating parang mas lumakas pa itong si Vice President Sara Duterte. wrong shot call to talaga. Wrong shot call yung ginawa nila na yan kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Hindi nakabuti sa administrasyon itong si Bangag ang pagpapakulong nila dito kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Tuloy.
You throw a case to the ICC not because you're interested in finding justice for tens of thousands of people, mostly poor people killed in the Philippines, but because you want the power for yourself.
Because what's interesting is you just heard the statement of the spokesperson of Malacanang saying we are not directly helping the ICC, we are indirectly helping the ICC. And that would be, I guess, protection for the witnesses to be used in the ICC, right? The Department of Justice protecting the witnesses. But we are not directly helping, we are indirectly helping. I mean, frankly, it seems like,
Natatawa itong si Ma'am Karen, sabi niya, indirectly, indirectly. You're helping, period. Parang yung gusto sabihin, tumutulong kayo, period. Indirectly, directly. Pagka sinabing kahit na, you're helping, tapos walang maraming pinag-uusap, tumutulong kayo. Nagpapasakop kayo sa jurisdiction ng ICC, gayong wala na silang jurisdiction sa ating bansa. Ganun lang kasimple.
It's cowardice. What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, the Philippine government actually has obligations to cooperate with the ICC, regardless of the withdrawal of the Philippines from the ICC. This obligation arises from the fact that even as a non-state party, there are residual obligations because of the fact that the cases were filed prior to the withdrawals taking effect, or at least the preliminary examination, right? So there is that legal argument. But outside of that legal argument, there is a witness protection law in the Philippines. So that law obliges the Philippines to protect witnesses. When I was in the Philippine government, we used some of that witness protection law in PCGJ cases. So the second thing here is that the ICC has its own witness protection agreements with certain countries, right? So only with countries that are members of the ICC. So in that perhaps is the situation where the Philippines can claim we have no agreement with the ICC for witness protection, but the ICC itself can reach out to other states to protect witnesses, including those witnesses who are no longer in the Philippines. So what we're really talking about here are witnesses that are still in the Philippines, not witnesses that are no longer in the country.
Attorney, could the Philippine government, could the Marcos administration handled this better? How did other countries whose leaders were sent to the ICC, how did they handle the political backlash, let's say, of a popular leader being arrested or being sent to the ICC?
So, again, in the two cases I mentioned, high-level officials, right? Laurent Gbagbo was former president. The government of the Ivory Coast actually prosecuted his wife, the First Lady. They did not surrender her to the ICC because they said they could prosecute her at home. They prosecuted other lower-level officials of Laurent Gbagbo's government involved in crimes against humanity. So, a government that is truly interested.
What reason? That's very interesting. Kasi tama kayo. Pwede namang sa lokal na pamahalaan kasuhan nyo, 'di ba? Yung ibang mga akusado. Pero what reason did the existing government of the Ivory Coast give why they could not prosecute the leader? Kasi ang binigay, sir, ang binigay ni President Marcos Jr., it was, we have to cooperate with the Interpol. So nangyari, hindi kumagat Hindi kumagat yung taong bayan doon.
So the specific situation in the Ivory Coast was that there was a war going on in which the government could not simply move against the former president given the number of supporters that were backing him. And so the ICC was involved because there was already a pending case against him as well. But, overall, I think that a government that is interested in justice, in accountability, including in the Philippines for the drug war, cannot just say prosecute this one person as if that single person was the only one who killed 30,000 people. That's impossible. We know that. So there are many more persons that ought to be prosecuted And letting the ICC go ahead and prosecute Rodrigo Duterte denies justice to Filipinos, because there are more people who ought to be investigated, who ought to be prosecuted for that drug war.
That's the strongest point you've made today. If the Philippine government is listening right now, do you advise the Philippine government to actually start prosecuting others involved, or suspected of being involved? The names that have been mentioned, you have Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, former PNP Chief Albayalde, and a few others. Do you recommend that the Philippine government take action on them?
Well, they held congressional hearings in which they compiled massive amounts of evidence against these people, and even admissions by these persons of who directed them to do what during the drug war. So there's really no reason. You can't say, I'll have to start all over again. You can't say the evidence has been trashed or erased, because the evidence was just there, sent to the ICC, and now a new round of evidence has come up in these congressional hearings. So there's really no excuse not to go after other people, not just Rodrigo Duterte, for crimes committed during the drug war.
Okay.
Correct.
Now, wearing...
Kung tayo sangayon diyan. Sangayon ho tayo sa sinasabi na yan nitong si Carranza, nitong si Ruben Carranza, na magsagawa na ng habulin na yung mga iba pang diyan. Yan si Senator Bato, sige na, habulin nyo na. Kaso ang problema dito, sir, kung sakaling yaang mga yan, hindi umusad ang kaso nila dito sa Pilipinas, naabsuelto, yaang mga nabanggit yung pangalan na yan, so kailangan managot dahil napakaraming nagurdur doon sa war on drugs ito si dating Pangulo Rodrigo Duterte. At iba yung findings ng ICC sa findings ng lokal na korte natin dito sa Pilipinas. Malaki problema ho natin dyan. Di ba? Malaki ho problema natin dyan. Kaya anong ginagawa ngayon ng ating pamahalaan? Inaayaan lang nila ang ICC para hindi magkaroon ng komplikasyon. Kasi mas malaking gulo pagka nangyari na absuelto itong sila Senator Bato, itong sila Albayalde, at kung sino pa yung gusto yung idawit sa war on drugs na yan, kung saan yaan ang pinanalo nitong si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, yan ang dahilan kung bakit napakaraming boto nitong si BP Sara at gustong-gusto ng ating mga kababayan dahil kahit papaano naramdaman nila na safe sila nung panahon ni Tatay Digong. At itong mga na to, nagkakatuwa, nakala mo mga banal, yung tipong human lives, yung mga human lives na pinoprotektahan nila pagka sila nakakuha ng buhay, hindi kayo nag-iiyakan, hindi kayo nanghihingi ng human justice para sa mga biktima nitong mga bangag na to, di ba? Walang ganoon Kaya nakukornihan tayo pagka sinasabi na yung hundreds, thousands of lives ng mga nabiktima ng war on drugs, o yung thousands of lives yung, di ba, ng mga biktima nitong mga addict na to. Yung mga biktima nila, wala mga human rights yun. Wag ganon. Sa panahon na to, hindi nagagana yung mga ganyang klaseng yung tipong parang yung moralidad mo napakataas. Lahat na lang kailangan protektahan. Pero pagka pinag-uusapan natin yung mga biktima nitong mga drogista na to, ba't parang wala kayong sinasabi?
Your hat as a former Presidential Commission on Good Government, or PCGG Commissioner this time, what do you make of how the impeachment case of Vice President Sara Duterte is shaping up right now? Two questions on this. Yan muna tayo. What do you make of that?
I'm just dealing with the whiplash of shifting to this. Well, first, this reminds me that there was a previous impeachment attempt against a president filed by several opposition leaders in the Philippines, equivalent of Congress. The impeachment complaint that they filed was dismissed outright by the majority controlled by the government. And this was in 1985 when the president was Ferdinand Marcos Sr. And his KBL simply dismissed an impeachment complaint filed by the opposition at that time. So, in other words, this motion to dismiss discussion that's happening, as I have read, follows a Marcos pattern, and that's the irony of it, because the same persons who are questioning Marcos Jr. in the impeachment case and his role in it are using the Marcos tactic of simply dismissing outright an impeachment complaint. I think impeachments are always inherently political. The process is legal. There's a clause in the Constitution, and I know that Filipinos have been debating what forthwith means, and I think that debate has been settled. But you must remember that the same sentence that includes forthwith talks about a trial must be held forthwith. So the trial part is just as important as the forthwith part. It doesn't say
And
proceedings must be held.
Ang tanong ko, is dismissing the case considered a trial must be held forthwith? Because Senate President Cheese Escudero said, our power as an impeachment court is limitless. We can do what we want. We have the sole authority to try and make a judgment. And some interpret this as you can acquit, you can convict, you can dismiss.
He's trying to bank on the nature of the Senate as an impeachment court, and therefore the power of a court to promulgate its own rules. But it's not correct. He's wrong in saying that her power is limitless. The Constitution gave them that power, and it's the Constitution that explicitly mentions the word trial and explicitly gives them the power to try and make judgment. It doesn't say to hear a motion to dismiss and then decide, right? So the word try is very specific. It has a technical meaning for lawyers. It has a technical meaning under the Constitution. A try means to go to a trial. And that's what the Senate, the power to promulgate rules during the trial is wide. But there is no power to not conduct a trial.
Okay. The last question is, there have been talks that the vice president might throw her hat into the presidency in 2028. If so, she would be leading as of today. She would be the winner as of today if elections were held today. Sources tell me that if she does run and win, she would bring back the PCGG. Now,
okay.
what are your thoughts on that? Allegations of corruption with this government, with the 2025 budget, once again, properties, wealth, there is no formal investigation. But that's the one thing sources say. If she wins, she will bring back the PCGG and once again, prosecute the Marcoses, get back ill-gotten wealth. What are your thoughts?
I don't know why she has to wait until 2028. The PCGG is still there. As a matter of fact, and not only that, the case, many cases have already been decided. What she ought to do is make sure, using her office as vice president, when you go on social media, for example, most of the Duterte supporters' attacks against the Marcoses involve Marcos as a drug user, Marcos as this, Marcos or that. They never seem to want to attack him for corruption, for ill-gotten wealth. And I don't understand.
Brad, binabanata namin siya, minamayat-maya nga namin yung kinukuhang ari-arian, yung nadesisyonan na sa Korte Suprema na pinapasaole yung ekta-ektaryang lupa sa Paway, Ilocos Norte, dyan sa pamilya Marcos. Kayo naman, oo. Hindi lang naman kami banat ng banat dito ng Marcos Bangag. Binabanatan din namin yung ginawang pagnanakaw ni Marcos Sr. sa kaban ng sambayan ng Pilipino. Yung ginagawang pagnanakaw ng kasalukuyang administrasyon doon sa mga nawawalang flood control, diyan sa budget, diyan sa walang humpay na pangungutang nila, pamimigay ng ayuda. Binabanatan namin sila sa siguro di kayo nanonood kay PH Update. Hindi nanonood si Sir. Manood kayo kay Sir dito kay PH Update para updated kayo. Di ba? Mag-subscribe kayo para alam nyo yung mga pinag-uusapan dito. Kayo naman, di ba? Simple lang naman yan. Pindutin na subscribe. Sigurado, maririnig mo yung mga birada namin dito kay Marcos Jr. kaugnay sa mga nangyayaring katiwalian. Doon sa panahon ng kanyang amang magnanakaw hanggang dito sa panahon nitong si Marcos Jr. Paano hindi magnanakaw? Bakit nyo inaangkin yung lupa sa Paway, Ilocos Norte? Sabi nitong si Korte Suprema, isaoli yan, pagmamay-ari yan ng sambayanan. Ipinipilit pa sa kanila daw. Di ba? O ba parang nanahimik ang Korte Suprema dito sa issue na to? Naisaoli na ba? Yung hektarya-hektaryang lupa sa Poway, Ilocos Norte, hindi fake news yan. Meron ng desisyon ng Korte Suprema dyan. Hoy, mga Marcos, sinuoli nyo na? Mga magnanakaw talaga no?
Why they
Isa rin sa dahilan yan kung bakit hindi tayo maniniwala kay Jaime Marcos. Kasi kung tunay ang pagmamahal niya sa bayan ng Pilipino, hindi na dapat sila obligahan. Siya mismo magsuoli dyan. Hoy, mga amigo, mga amiga, mga kapatid, mga pinsan, hindi atin yan sa gobyerno. Suoli natin yung lupa, nakakahiya. Tatakbo pa ako ng vice.
won't do that. So they can do that. Not only can she demand.
We're doing that, my friend. Ginagawa namin ng lahat. Pinag-uusapan namin dito ang mga nangyayaring kabalbalan dito sa administrasyon na to.
That cases that have been decided against the Marcoses, including the criminal conviction of Imelda Marcos, right? That her bail should be rescinded, for example, in the same way that her father, Sara Duterte's father, cannot be granted interim release. Why should Imelda Marcos, who's been convicted? Rodrigo Duterte has not even been convicted. He can't be released, but Imelda Marcos convicted. So maybe she should demand that. But not only that, there's a tax liability of the Marcos.
Ikulong din natin. Si Imelda, gusto niyo ikulong natin si Imelda. Convicted pala si Imelda, ba't di nakakulong? Mga
That they haven't paid. I don't understand why the Duterte family doesn't seem to be interested in accountability for corruption. The same allegations of corruption that have been made against her
Interesado naman ho kami, sir. Grabe naman ho yan.
in the impeachment trial.
All right. Well, on that note, I want to thank you. If they ask you once again,
Ayun na nga, hindi. Dito na ho natatapusin. Maraming salamat Maraming salamat dito kay Ma'am Karen Davila, dito kay Attorney Ruben Garanza. Napakarami nating natutunan. Hindi DDS, hindi ko nga nakikita nyo naman kung paano siya tumirada, di ba? Mga biktima, dapat panagutin siya Pilipinas. Diba? Ganun lang naman yun. As always, maraming salamat sa pag-support sa PH Update. Kung di pa ho kayo nakasubscribe, nandyan lang ho yung subscribe button. Huwag na ho kayo mahiya. Maraming salamat. Mahalin ho natin ang Pilipinas.